Caught my wife's affair with her ex. Then I exposed her $1 million scam. Her phone lit up at 3 a.m. with his name. She was asleep next to me, or so I thought. That was the moment I knew our life was a lie. If this story hits you, don't forget to drop a comment, and subscribe to Viora for more unforgettable stories that speak to the heart. I'm Caleb Jensen, 40, a wealth manager who's spent the last 15 years turning middle-class dreams into seven-figure realities. My life's not a Forbes cover, just a solid one. A brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, a Range Rover in the garage, and a portfolio that lets me breathe easy. I'm not swimming in billions, but I've got enough to call my shots. My wife, Lily Harper, was the piece that made it all click. Brunette, quick with a smile, the kind of woman who could charm a room or cut you with a glance. We met at a finance conference in Chicago. Her spilling coffee on my notes, me fumbling to ask her out. 10 years later, we're the couple you'd bet on. Or so I believed. Lily runs a boutique PR firm handling campaigns for tech startups and lifestyle brands. She's got a knack for spinning stories, making clients shine. We don't have kids, never found the right moment, but we've got each other, and that's been enough. I'm the guy who crunches numbers, builds nest eggs, plans our future. Lily's the spark picking, restaurants, planning our trips, keeping life vibrant. Together we're a machine, me with the strategy, her with the soul. Our brownstones always buzzing, dinner parties, game nights. Her mom, Ellen Harper, dropping by with casseroles. Ellen's a retired teacher, widowed, warm but nosy. Then there's Lily's cousin Tyler, a 34-year-old consultant who's been figuring things out since Bush was president. I've been covering his car payments because Lily says he's family. I didn't mind, I'm the guy who steps up last fall. I planned a getaway to Napa Valley, our big reset. A week in a vineyard estate, private chef, hot air balloon ride at dawn. I'd been slammed closing a $10 million deal for a client's trust fund, and I wanted to treat Lily. I booked business class flights, a Tesla rental. Even a wine tasting tour with a sommelier. Dropped $30,000 without blinking. This was for us. The first crack showed up 2 months before the trip. Lily started pulling away. She's always been tied to her phone, client texts, social media, but now she'd tilted out of my view when I walked in. She'd laugh at messages, then brush it off when I asked. Just a client, she'd say, flipping her hair. I let it slide. Trust is the foundation, right? But then came the late nights. She'd stay at her office in Dumbo, claiming deadlines. She'd come home at midnight, her perfume sharp, her eyes dodging mine. Big campaign. She'd say. I nodded, but my gut twisted. I'm not possessive, but I'm not blind. Then I saw his name, Bradley Morton, her college ex. They dated for a year at NYU, split when he moved to Seattle for a tech job. He was back in New York now, a venture capitalist with a Tribeca loft and a reputation for closing deals. Lily mentioned him a few weeks ago. Ran into Bradley at a networking event. He's killing it. I didn't think twice. Exes are history. But at 3 a.m., when her phone buzzed and Bradley flashed on the screen, history felt very present. I didn't wake her. I didn't grab the phone. I lay there staring at the ceiling, the glow of her screen burning into me. The next morning I made coffee, kissed her cheek, and acted normal. Inside I was a furnace, doubts a quiet killer, it doesn't scream, it simmers. I needed facts, not feelings. So I checked our joint accounts, $300 dinners at places she never mentioned. $700 at a Soho boutique for clothes I never saw. Then a hotel charge, $900 at the Bowery. One night Lily had said she was at a team retreat in Connecticut that day. Connecticut doesn't have the Bowery. I didn't confront her. I'm a numbers guy. Data over drama. I installed a tracking app on her phone, shady sure. But when your wife's sneaking around, you don't play nice. The app showed her at a rooftop bar in Manhattan the next night. Not her office. I drove into the city, parked across from the bar, and waited. There she was in a silk dress, laughing with Bradley. He was all Polish tailored suit, easy grin, his hand grazing her arm. She leaned into him, her smile the one she used to save for me. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white, but I didn't storm in. I watched my marriage cracking like ice. When she got home, I was on the couch, flipping through a client report. Good night, I asked, my voice even. She froze just a second, then smiled. Yeah, nailed a pitch, exhausted though. She kissed my forehead and went upstairs. Her lie hung in the air, thick as smoke. The next day, Ellen called me to her apartment in Park Slope. Caleb, we need to talk about Napa, she said, her voice syrupy. I figured she wanted me to cover her flight. Ellen's always hinting at help. I drove over expecting a quick chat. Instead, she sat me down, poured coffee I didn't touch, and dropped a nuke. Lily's added some guests to the trip. Ellen said her hands folded. Bradley's coming, and so is Owen. Owen Pierce, Lily's ex-fiancé. They were engaged for 2 years in their 20s, broke it off when he took a job in London. He's back now, a hedge fund guy with a penthouse in Chelsea. Lily mentioned seeing him at a charity auction last month, said it was no big deal. Now he was invited to my trip. Guests. I said, my voice flat. Who else? Ellen shifted her eyes, avoiding mine. Just them. Lily thought it'd be lively. A group thing. I leaned forward, my jaw tight. And I'm paying for this group thing. Ellen, she flinched. You've always been so generous, Caleb. I stood my chair, scraping the floor. So Lily invited her ex-fiancé and her college boyfriend to the vacation I planned, and I'm footing the bill. Ellen's mouth opened, then closed. It's not like that. They're friends, I laughed, short and bitter. Friends don't crash a couple's retreat. I left my blood boiling. In the car, my phone pinged a text from Lily. Hey babe, can we talk about Napa? Got some fun ideas. Fun. Right, that night I couldn't sleep. Bradley's hand on her arm. Owen's name in Ellen's mouth, they burned into me. I checked the tracking app. Lily was at her office, allegedly. But the app showed her phone at Bradley's loft. At 2 a.m., I stared at the dot on the map, my pulse hammering. Then I opened our bank app. Another charge. $2,000 at a jeweler. Lily hadn't worn new jewelry in months. The next morning, I called my assistant Jenna. Cancel Napa Flight's estate chef balloon ride. Refund what you can eat, the rest. Jenna's ex-corporate doesn't blink at big moves. Done. She said I didn't tell Lily, I didn't tell anyone. I acted. By noon, the trip was ash. I sent a group email to Lily, Ellen, Tyler, and the guests. Trips canceled. No explanation. Then I booked a one-way ticket to Savannah, Georgia. I've got a college friend there, Nate, who runs a craft brewery. I needed distance perspective. I packed a duffel, left my wedding ring on the nightstand, and drove to the airport. Lily called as I hit the Brooklyn Bridge. Caleb, what the hell? You canceled Napa. Ellen's losing it. Her voice was sharp, panicked. Yeah, I said, eyes on the skyline. I did. Why, what's wrong with you? I smirked, cold. Ask Bradley or Owen. She went quiet. Then Caleb, you're overreacting. It's not what you think, save it, I said, and hung up. At the airport, I got a text from Tyler's girlfriend, Mia. She's a graphic designer, blunt, no filter. Check your email, you deserve the truth. Attached was a zip file, screenshots of Lily's texts with Bradley hotel receipts, a photo of them kissing in the Bowery's elevator. Mia had swiped Tyler's phone where Lily had backed up her burner app. The texts were a knife. Caleb's clueless, he'll pay for Napa and we'll have a blast. Another from Bradley. Can't wait to get you alone in that vineyard. I forwarded it to my lawyer, Ethan Cole. Start the divorce, I texted, and freeze the joint accounts. Ethan's a bulldog, ex-prosecutor, doesn't lose on it, he replied. In Savannah, I crashed at Nate's loft above his brewery, the air thick with hops and regret over IPAs. I told him the story. He shook his head. She played you, man, but you hit back hard. I wasn't so sure. Canceling Napa felt right, but it didn't fill the hole in my chest. 10 years, and I'd missed every sign. I kept seeing Mia's screenshots. Lily's laughed, the way she lied without flinching. But there was something else. Something I hadn't told Nate. 3 years ago, I'd slipped a client, Rachel Blonde, sharp, too flirty, at a conference in Austin. We'd had drinks, shared a dance, got too close. I stopped it, told Lily the next day. She cried, forgave me, said we'd move on. Now I wondered, was that her excuse? Did she hold it against me, waiting for her chance with Bradley? The next morning, I got an email from Ellen. Caleb, you've humiliated us. Lily's devastated. How could you do this to your family? Attached was Lily's Instagram story, her at the airport in a sundress caption, Napa dreams shattered, thanks Caleb. The comments were vicious friends calling me cold, selfish, a jerk. I didn't reply. Instead, I checked my bank app. Ethan had frozen the accounts, but not before Ellen withdrew $8,000 from our business line. My business, my money. I called Ethan ad fraud to the lawsuit. I said Ellen's done that night. Mia texted again. Lily's at Bradley's. Owen's pissed, thinks he was used too. I stared at the message, the brewery's neon buzzing outside. Lily didn't just cheat. She orchestrated a circus, and I was the fool. I poured another IPA, the glass cold in my hand. Savannah's humid air pressed against the windows. The river a faint shimmer beyond. I'd walked away. But was it enough? Lily was spinning her story, painting me as the villain, and Bradley slick, untouchable. Bradley was probably laughing. I opened my laptop, pulled up my client list. Bradley's VC firm was on at $1.5 million under my management. I smiled, the first real one in days. Maybe I wasn't done playing yet. What would you do if the person you love turned your world into a lie? The brewery's neon sign buzzed outside Nate's loft, casting a red glow across my laptop screen. Bradley Morton's VC firm stared back at me, $1.5 million in assets, a portfolio I'd shaped with surgical precision. I could torch it with one call, shift his funds to high-risk crypto, let the market gut him. My finger hovered over my phone, but I stopped. Revenge like that is a cheap thrill, hot for a second. Then you're left with ashes. I closed the laptop and drained my IPA. I needed a strategy, not a vendetta. Morning in Savannah hit like a sauna, the air thick with river mist. My phone pinged. Ethan, my lawyer. His voice clipped. Caleb, check your email. This is bigger than we thought. I opened it at Nate's kitchen counter, the smell of burnt toast lingering. The attachments were a punch to the gut, bank records, wire transfers, and a trail leading to Ellen Harper, Lily's mom. That $8,000 she'd swiped from my business account wasn't a one-off. She'd been skimming for asterisk years. Asterisk $400. Here $900, there, funneled into a ghost account labeled Harper Solutions Total Haul. $78,000. My money. My hustle paying for her book club wines and Tyler's consulting gigs. Ethan had traced it to a shell company she'd set up slick enough to dodge my audits. The kicker, Lily's name was on the paperwork, listed as a co-founder. I gripped the counter, my knuckles white. How'd we miss this? I texted Ethan. Trust, he replied. They used it against you. Ellen's been playing the doting mom and Lily's her accomplice. Lily. The woman I'd built a decade with, who'd planned our Napa trip over candlelit dinners. She wasn't just cheating with Bradley. She was robbing me blind, hand in glove, with her mother. I pictured her at the Bowery, kissing Bradley, wearing that $700 dress I'd paid for while Ellen cashed my checks. I wasn't just betrayed, I was their bank. Build the case, I told Ethan. Fraud, embezzlement, whatever sticks, I want them to pay. Already drafting, he said. Ellen's gonna regret this. I paced the loft, Savannah's river glinting through the window. My mind snagged on Owen Pierce, Lily's ex-fiancé, invited to asterisk my asterisk Napa trip. Bradley made sense. College flame rekindled, but Owen. He was a footnote from her 20s, a hedge fund hotshot who'd left her for London. Why drag him into this? It felt off, like a card played from a hidden deck. That afternoon, Mia, Tyler's girlfriend, texted asterisk. Call me. There's more asterisk. I stepped onto the brewery's patio, the low country heat sticking to my skin. Mia's voice was low, like she was dodging listeners. Lily's not just with Bradley. She said she's working Owen too. I overheard her and Ellen at the apartment. They're after his money. Owen's money, I said, leaning against a railing. He's a shark, not a mark. He's loaded, Caleb. Mia said 8 figures, maybe more. Lily's been pitching him on investing in her PR firm, but it's a con. Ellen's got a side deal. Some real estate flip in Miami. They were going to use Napa to hook him, fancy dinners, vineyard vibes, Lily playing the muse. They figured you'd cover the trip and Owen would sign the check. I let out a bitter laugh. So I'm the sucker who funds their scam. Pretty much. Mia said Tyler's in on it too. He's been snooping through your accounts, feeding Ellen numbers, so they know how much they can take without you noticing. Tyler. The cousin. I'd bailed out whose car I'd paid for, who I'd given a shot at my firm last year. He'd quit after a month, whining about stress. Now I saw why he was too busy betraying me. Why tell me? I asked Mia. She paused. You've been decent, Caleb. Paid for my laptop when it died. Never treated me like Tyler's arm candy. I'm done with him. I'm out as soon as I can. I thanked her and hung up my head, spinning. Lily, Ellen, Tyler. They weren't just family. They were a syndicate, and I was their cash machine. But Owen, he wasn't some lovesick ex falling for Lily's charm. He was a Wall Street predator. If he was playing along, he had his own angle. I needed to know what. I called Lucas, a private investigator. Nate recommended ex-FBI lean with a knack for digging where others wouldn't look into Owen Pierce. I said, finances, connections, what he's doing with Lily. I want everything. On it, Lucas said. Give me 48 hours. While I waited, I checked Lily's Instagram from a burner account. She was in full victim mode, posting moody photos and captions about broken promises. Her followers ate it up, flooding her with "You're so strong, Lily" and heart emojis. Then I saw a story, her with Owen clinking wine glasses at a rooftop bar in Manhattan. Caption asterisk. Chasing New Horizons asterisk. My jaw clenched. New Horizons, my ass. She was chasing his bank account. Lucas called back the next morning, his voice tight. Owen's not clean. He's under investigation by the SEC insider trading shady hedge fund deals. Lily's PR firm. It's a front. She's been moving money for him, laundering cash through client invoices. Ellen's shell company's part of it, shuffling funds to offshore accounts. Your business accounts. They've been using them as a pipeline. I sat on Nate's couch, the room tilting. You're saying Lily's not just a thief, she's a criminal. Big time, Lucas said. But Owen's the puppet master. He's got Lily and Ellen thinking they're partners, but he's setting them up to take the fall if the feds close in. You're the collateral damage. I rubbed my temples, the weight sinking in. My wife wasn't just cheating, she was neck-deep in a federal crime, and I'd been funding it. My firm's accounts twisted into Owen's machine. Send me the files, I said. Everything. The evidence hit my inbox: bank transfers, emails, a recorded call of Ellen telling Lily Caleb's too straight to suspect anything. Keep him happy. I forwarded it to Ethan. Add money laundering to the lawsuit. I said, and tip off the SEC anonymous. Ethan whistled. You're going nuclear, Caleb. They lit the fuse, I said. I could have stopped there. The evidence was enough to bury Lily, Ellen, and Tyler. But Mia's words stuck. Asterisk. Owen thinks he was used too. Asterisk. If Owen was the mastermind, why invite Bradley to Napa? Bradley wasn't just Lily's fling, he was a loose thread. I called Lucas Digg into Bradley Morton. I want his connection to Owen. Lucas delivered 24 hours later. Bradley's not just a VC, he said. He's Owen's cousin. They grew up together, ran scams in college. Bradley's been cozying up to Lily on Owen's orders, keeping her distracted, feeding Owen her plans. Owen doesn't trust her. Bradley's his spy. I leaned against the loft's brick wall, the pieces snapping together so Bradley's not in love with her. He's in it for the cut, Lucas said. Sleeping with her, sure, but it's business. Owen's propping up Bradley's firm, it's bleeding cash. Lily thinks she's playing Bradley, but he's playing her. My mind reeled. Lily wasn't the queen of this game, she was a pawn. Owen was the king, Bradley his knight, and Ellen and Tyler were foot soldiers. Me. I was the board they'd trampled, but boards don't fight back. I needed leverage. I called Mia. Meet me in New York. Bring everything you've got on, Tyler. She agreed. No hesitation. I booked a flight. My duffel packed. Savannah's river fading as I headed to the airport. The Low Country was a refuge, but New York was where this war would be fought. In Brooklyn, I met Mia at a diner, the kind with sticky booths and coffee that tastes like regret. She slid a USB across the table. Tyler's emails, texts, bank records. He's been skimming your clients, redirecting referrals, pocketing fees. Small stuff about $20,000. I plugged the drive into my laptop. The evidence was airtight. Tyler had been emailing my clients, forging my name, funneling commissions to a Venmo account. He'd even bragged to Ellen in a text. Caleb's too busy to notice. Easy pickings. Asterisk. My fist clenched. I'd trusted him, given him a lifeline, and he'd sold me out for chump change. Why turn on him? I asked Mia, closing the laptop. She stirred her coffee, her eyes hard. Tyler's been cheating on me with Lily's intern, Claire. I found their texts. I'm done being the loyal girlfriend. Another twist. Claire, Lily's shy intern, always fetching coffee, taking notes. Now she was in bed with Tyler, literally and figuratively. I almost laughed. This wasn't a love triangle. It was a damn web. I thanked Mia and headed to my firm's Manhattan office. Jenna, my assistant, met me at the door, her corporate polish unshaken. You look like hell, she said, handing me an espresso. I briefed her. Ellen's theft. Lily's laundering, Tyler's betrayal. Owen's scheme, Bradley's double cross. Her jaw tightened. What's the play? Lock Tyler out of the system. I said pull Bradley's account and set a meeting with Owen tomorrow. Jenna smirked. You're meeting the guy who's screwing your wife. He's not screwing her. I said, he's screwing us all. That night I crashed at a midtown hotel, the city's hum seeping through the window. My phone lit up a text from Lily *, Caleb. I'm at the brownstone. We need to talk. Please *. I stared at her words, her desperation almost convincing. Almost, I didn't reply. Instead, I texted Mia *, get Claire to talk, I want her story *. Then I called Ethan. Serve the divorce papers, now. The next morning, I walked into Owen's office, a glass tower in Chelsea. He stood behind a desk, his handshake firm, his smile slick. Caleb, he said, his voice smooth. Sorry about Napa. Lily's spontaneous. I sat my face stone. Cut the bullshit, Owen. I know about the laundering, the shell company, Bradley. I know you're using Lily and Ellen as fronts for your SEC problems. His smile held, but his eyes flickered. Bold claims got proof. I slid a USB across the desk. Lucas's files sanitized to hide my source bank transfers emails. Ellen's call. This goes to the feds unless you back off. Leave Lily, Ellen, and Tyler to me and stay out of my firm. Owen leaned back, his fingers drumming. You're not as soft as Lily said. I'm not as soft as you thought, I shot back. He opened the drive, his face unreadable. Then he laughed sharp. All right, Jensen, you've got guts. I'll step back. Lily's your problem now. I stood, leaving the drive. She always was. As I left, my phone buzzed. Mia. Claire's talking. Meet me tonight, asterisk. I hailed a cab, the city a blur of steel and glass. Owen might have backed off, but this wasn't over. Lily was at the brownstone begging to talk. Claire was spilling secrets, and somewhere Bradley was playing his own game. I met Mia at a dive bar in Williamsburg, the air thick with smoke and indie rock. Claire sat in a booth, twisting a napkin, her eyes darting. I didn't want to get involved, she blurted. Tyler pressured me. Said it was just business. Business, I said, sliding in. Stealing from me. Sleeping with him while he's with Mia. Claire flinched. It wasn't like that. Tyler said you were distant, that Lily was unhappy. He said we were helping her. Helping her, I leaned forward, by laundering money, by screwing me over. She shook her head, tears brimming. I didn't know about the money Tyler handled, the accounts he gave me. Invoices to process, said they were for Lily's clients. Then I saw the numbers, millions moving through offshore accounts. I asked him, and he threatened me. Said I'd lose everything. I glanced at Mia, who nodded. She's telling the truth. I found Tyler's threats on her phone. What else? I asked Claire. She swallowed. Lily's not just working with Owen. She's got a side deal with Bradley. He's promised to introduce her to investors for her firm. But I overheard them. Bradley's recording her. Every meeting, every call. He's building a file to blackmail her if she steps out of line. My pulse spiked. Bradley wasn't just Owen's spy. He was a vulture circling Lily for his own gain. Where's the file? I asked. Claire shook her head. I don't know. His laptop, maybe. He's paranoid, keeps it locked. I slid her my card. Find it, you want out, help me. She nodded, her hands trembling. Mia walked her out, leaving me alone with my thoughts. Bradley was playing both sides. Owen was dodging the feds, and Lily was caught in the middle, thinking she was in control. But there was something else. A shadow I couldn't place. The next day I got a call from Nate back in Savannah. Yo, Caleb. You know, a guy named Matt Dillon. Matt was my old business school roommate, a fintech startup guy who'd sold his company for $150 million. We drifted apart, but he'd been at our wedding toasting Lily like she was royalty. Yeah, I said, why? He's in town asking about you. Nate said he saw Lily at a fundraiser in New York. She was with Bradley acting cagey. Matt's got a bad vibe, wants to talk. I met Matt at a steakhouse in Manhattan, his tech bro vibe clashing with the dark wood and leather. He cut to the chase. Lily's in deep, Caleb. I didn't want to meddle, but I owe you. She was at this fundraiser pitching investors for her firm. Bradley was there, but so was Owen. I know Owen from the finance circuit. He's toxic. Shady deals, SEC heat. Lily's tied to him, and it's not just business. She's scared. Scared, I said, my fork pausing. Matt nodded. I overheard her with Bradley in a side room. She said, if Caleb finds out, I'm done. Bradley laughed. Said Owen's got her locked down. I don't know the details, but it's bad. I leaned back, the steakhouse's din fading. Lily scared. The woman who'd lied, stolen, and schemed, was she a victim too? Or was this another act? I thanked Matt and left my mind churning. That night I drove to the brownstone, its windows dark except for a glow in the kitchen. Lily's car was in the driveway, a rental parked beside it. I stepped inside, my boots heavy on the hardwood. Lily sat at the counter, a glass of wine in hand, her eyes read. Caleb, she said, standing. Thank God you're here. Save it, I said, dropping my duffel. I know everything. Bradley, Owen, the money, Ellen's shell company, you're done. She froze, her glass trembling. It's not what you think. I got in too deep, Owen. He's dangerous. I didn't have a choice. I laughed, cold. No choice. You've been stealing from me for years. You invited your exes to my trip. You're not trapped. You're a liar. Her face crumpled, but before she could speak, the back door creaked. Bradley stepped in, his smirk fading when he saw me. Jensen, he said, his voice smooth, didn't expect you. Get out, I said, my voice low. He raised his hands. Mock surrender, easy man, just checking on Lily. She's had a rough night. I stepped closer, my fists clenched. You're recording her, blackmailing her for Owen. His eyes widened just a second. Then he recovered, chuckling. You've been busy, but you're out of your league, Caleb. Walk away. I grabbed his collar, slamming him against the wall. You walk away or I send your files to the feds. Owen's not the only one they're after. Lily gasped. Caleb, stop. Bradley shoved me off, straightening his jacket. You're making a mistake, he said, and slipped out. I turned to Lily, her face pale. Talk, I said. Everything now. She sank into a chair, her voice shaking. Owen approached me a year ago. Said he could get my firm big clients, but I had to move money for him. Small stuff at first, then it got bigger. Ellen helped. She said it was our chance to be free, to not depend on you. I didn't know it was illegal until it was too late. Bradley. He was supposed to be my way out. But he's worse. He's got tapes. Caleb. Of me, of Owen, of everything. I stared at her. The woman I'd loved, now a stranger. Was she telling the truth? Or was this another con? My phone buzzed. Ethan asterisk papers served SECs moving on Owen's stay. Clear asterisk. I looked at Lily, her tears glinting in the kitchen light. The brownstone felt like a tomb, the city's hum faint outside. I grabbed my duffel. You're on your own, I said, and walked out. The rental car's headlights flashed. Someone was inside. I froze my hand on my phone. The door opened and Tyler stepped out, his face pale. Caleb. Wait, we need to talk. I laughed. Bitter, you're late, Tyler. I know you've been stealing, spying, screwing Claire. You're done. He shook his head, frantic. It's not that, it's Owen. He's coming for you. He knows you tipped the feds. The night closed in the brownstone's shadow, swallowing us. I gripped my phone. Lily's voice echoing, Tyler's warning ringing. Owen wasn't backing off. He was doubling down. And I was in the crosshairs. The Brooklyn night was heavy. The brownstone's shadow swallowing the street as Tyler's warning hung in the air. Owen's coming for you. He knows you tipped the feds. The rental car's headlights cut through the dark, its engine still warm. Lily's sobs echoed from inside the house, but my eyes were locked on Tyler, his face pale, his hands twitching. My phone burned in my grip. Ethan's text, SEC's moving on. Owen's stay. Clear. A ticking clock. Owen wasn't just a cheating ex or a shady financier. He was a predator, and I'd just painted a target on my back. Talk, I said, my voice low, stepping closer to Tyler. The city's hum was distant, the street eerily still. He wiped sweat from his brow, his voice shaky. Owen called me an hour ago. He's livid. Caleb said you're screwing up his whole operation. He's got people guys who don't ask questions. I don't know what he's planning, but it's not good. I grabbed his shirt, pulling him close. You've been spying for him, stealing from me, screwing Claire behind Mia's back. Why should I believe a word you say? Tyler's eyes darted to the brownstone, then back. Because I'm scared, man. I didn't sign up for this. I thought it was just easy cash. Ellen said it was no big deal. Now Owen's talking about cleaning house, and I'm on the list. I shoved him back, my jaw tight. Get in the car. You're coming with me. He hesitated, then scrambled into the passenger seat of my Range Rover. I slid behind the wheel, the dashboard lighting up. A black sedan turned onto the street, its headlights low, creeping past the brownstone. My gut screamed Owen, or his muscle. I hit the gas, the SUV surging forward, weaving through Brooklyn's quiet streets. The sedan followed, keeping pace, but not closing in. They were tailing, not attacking. Yet, where's Owen now? I snapped, taking a sharp turn onto Atlantic Avenue. I don't know, Tyler said, gripping the door. He didn't say, could be his penthouse, could be anywhere. He's got safe houses, Jersey upstate. Guy's paranoid. I glanced in the rear view. The sedan was still there, a shadow in the night. Call Mia, I said. Tell her to get Claire and meet us at Ethan's office in Manhattan, and don't try anything stupid. Tyler fumbled with his phone, his voice cracking as he relayed the order. Mia's response was sharp. We're on it, don't die. I almost smirked. Mia was tough, the only one in this mess with a spine I could trust. I lost the sedan in Dumbo, cutting through a side street and doubling back toward the Manhattan Bridge. Tyler was a mess, his knee bouncing, his breath ragged. You're gonna get us killed, Caleb. Shut up, I said, my mind racing. Owen knew I'd tipped the SEC, which meant he'd traced Lucas's files, the ones tying him to Lily's laundering, Ellen's shell company, and his insider trading. He wasn't just cornered, he was desperate. And desperate men don't negotiate. They eliminate Lily, Tyler, Bradley. They were all liabilities now, but I was the one who'd lit the fuse. We hit Ethan's law firm in the financial district just after 2 a.m., the glass tower looming like a sentinel. Ethan was waiting in the lobby, his suit rumpled, his eyes sharp. You look like hell, he said, handing me a coffee. SEC's got Owen's office locked down. They're seizing servers, freezing accounts. He's on the run where I asked, shoving Tyler toward a conference room. Ethan followed, his voice low. No idea. He's got cash stashed crypto offshore banks, could be halfway to Dubai by now, but he's not the type to run quiet. You need to watch your back. I locked Tyler in the conference room, his protest muffled through the glass. Keep him there, I told Ethan. He's a rat, but he's my rat for now. Ethan nodded, pulling up a laptop. I've got more. Your business accounts. Ellen's been siphoning more than we thought. Another $22,000 funneled through a second shell company. And get this, Bradley's firm is tied to it. He's been taking a cut. I leaned over the screen. The number's a gut punch. Bradley wasn't just Owen's spy, he was profiting off Ellen's theft, skimming my money while sleeping with my wife. How deep does this go? I asked, deep, Ethan said. But here's the weird part. Owen's hedge fund has a silent partner, someone called the broker, no name, no face, just a code name in the filings. They're the one bankrolling Owen's dirtier deals. If we find the broker, we find Owen. I paced the city's skyline glinting through the window. Owen was a ghost Bradley, a traitor, Ellen a thief, and Lily a liar. Tyler was useless. Claire was a wild card, and Mia was my only ally. And now the broker, a shadow pulling strings. I couldn't see. I needed more than evidence. I needed a trap. My phone buzzed. Lucas the PI, Caleb. I've got something on Bradley. He's not just Owen's cousin. He's been meeting with a guy named Vincent Cole. No relation to Ethan, ex-mercenary, runs a private security firm. Owen uses him for muscle. Bradley's been feeding him intel on Lily. But here's the twist. Bradley's double-crossing Owen. He's got a separate deal with Vincent to sell Owen's secrets if the feds close in. I froze the pieces, shifting. Sell to who could be the broker? Lucas said. Or another player. Vincent's meeting Bradley tomorrow night. A warehouse in Red Hook. If you want answers, that's where you get them. Send me the address, I said. And keep digging on. The broker. I briefed Ethan, who raised an eyebrow. You're going to a meet with a mercenary. You're a wealth manager, not Jason Bourne. I'm the guy they screwed over. I said, that's enough. The next day I met Mia and Claire at a coffee shop in Flatbush, the air thick with espresso and tension. Claire was a wreck. Her hands trembling, her glasses fogged. I found Bradley's files, she whispered, sliding a USB across the table. Recordings, emails, bank transfers. He's been taping Lily for months, every call, every meeting. There's one file, though. It's about you. I plugged the USB into my laptop, my pulse spiking. The file was a video timestamped 2 years ago from that Austin conference with Rachel. It was edited to look like we'd gone further than a dance. Our conversation cut to suggest a hotel room. Her hand on my arm framed like a caress. Bradley had weaponized my confession to Lily, turning a near mistake into a smoking gun. A note was attached. If Jensen gets too close, this goes public. I looked at Claire, my voice low. Who's seen this? Just Bradley, she said. He showed it to Lily, said it'd keep you in line. She didn't want to use it, but she didn't stop him. I clenched my fist, the coffee shop's chatter fading. Lily hadn't just betrayed me, she'd let Bradley build a guillotine over my head. What else? I asked. Claire swallowed. Bradley's meeting Vincent to sell Owen's client list, names, accounts, everything. If Owen finds out Bradley's dead, I nodded, pocketing the USB. Stay with Mia. Don't talk to anyone. Mia leaned in, her eyes hard. What's your move, Caleb? You got enough to bury them, but Owen's not sitting still. I'm crashing Bradley's meet. I said if Vincent's got Owen's secrets, I'm taking them. That night I drove to Red Hook, the warehouse district, a maze of rust and shadows. Lucas met me a block away, his black SUV blending with the dark. Vincent's ex-special forces, he said, handing me a comms earpiece. Armed, paranoid Bradley's already inside. I've got eyes on the exits, but if this goes south, you're on your own. I nodded, my heart steady despite the stakes. The warehouse was a hulking shell. Its windows boarded the air, heavy with oil and salt. I slipped through a side door, the earpiece crackling with Lucas's updates. Inside, Bradley stood under a flickering bulb, a laptop open on a crate. Vincent was opposite, a bear of a man in tactical gear, his pistol holstered but ready. You're late, Vincent growled, his voice like gravel. Had to shake a tail, Bradley said, his smirk strained. You got the cash. Vincent tossed a duffel at Bradley's feet. Client list first. I stepped out, my voice cutting through the dark. Nobody's selling anything. Bradley spun, his face paling. Vincent's hand went to his gun, but Lucas's voice in my earpiece stopped me cold. Caleb, abort, Owen's here. Headlights flooded the warehouse, a black Escalade crashing through the loading bay. Owen stepped out, flanked by 2 men in suits, their guns drawn. Bradley, he said, his voice ice. You're a disappointment, Bradley stammered, backing toward the crate. Owen, this isn't what it looks like. Shut up. Owen snapped his eyes, locking on me. Jensen, you're persistent. I'll give you that. I stood my ground, the laptop between us. It's over, Owen. The feds have your accounts, your deals, your recordings, you're done. He laughed sharp. You think the SEC scares me? I've got friends, Caleb, bigger than you, bigger than Ethan. Hand over the laptop and maybe you walk. Vincent shifted his gun, now aimed at Owen's men. Nobody's walking, he said. I paid for that list, it's mine. Chaos erupted. Owen's men fired. Vincent dove behind a crate, and Bradley bolted for the exit. I grabbed the laptop, sprinting for cover as bullets sparked off metal. Lucas burst through a side door, his own gun blazing, taking out one of Owen's men. I slid behind a stack of pallets, the laptop clutched to my chest. Owen's voice cut through the gunfire. Kill Jensen. Get the laptop. Vincent turned on Owen, his pistol barking. You double-crossed me, Pierce. Another of Owen's men dropped, blood pooling on the concrete. I crawled toward the exit, Lucas covering me. Bradley was gone, vanished into the night. Owen ducked behind the Escalade, his last man falling to Vincent's fire. Sirens wailed, red and blue lights flooding the warehouse. NYPD swarmed in shouting orders. Vincent dropped his gun, hands raised. Owen was cornered, his smirk gone, cuffed against the Escalade. I handed the laptop to a detective, Lucas slipping into the crowd before questions started. Back at Ethan's office, Claire cracked the laptop's encryption. The recordings were a goldmine. Owen's insider trades, Bradley's blackmail, Ellen's orders to Lily. But one file hit like a sledgehammer. A doctored audio of me from a client call last year, edited to sound like I was greenlighting Owen's deals. Bradley had planted it, a failsafe to frame me if the feds came knocking. Lily had known, had let it sit there. A loaded gun. I confronted her at the brownstone dawn breaking over Brooklyn. She was in the kitchen, her face gaunt, a suitcase half-packed. Caleb, she said, her voice breaking, I didn't want this. You let them frame me, I said, tossing the USB on the counter. You, Ellen, Bradley. Owen, you built a cage around my life. She sank into a chair, tears falling. Owen trapped me. He said he'd ruin me, ruin us. Ellen pushed me, said it was our way out. I thought I could fix it. You didn't fix anything, I said. You broke it. Ethan called as I left the brownstone. Feds have Owen in custody. Vincent's talking, giving up names. Ellen's arrested, facing 10 years. Tyler's cut a deal, ratting on Ellen for probation. Bradley's MIA, but his firm's toast. You did it, Caleb. Did I? I said, the city's pulse mocking me. Owen was cuffed, but the broker was a ghost. Lily was a witness. Ellen was done and Bradley was on the run. My firm was clean, but my life was rubble. I checked into a hotel. The brownstone, a memory I couldn't face. Jenna sent me a report. Ellen's shell company had moved $1 million over 4 years most, to Owen, some to Bradley. The FBI was seizing it, but the damage was done. I called Mia, checking on Claire. She's safe, Mia said, but she's out of the game. What about you? I'm figuring it out, I said, the skyline glittering outside. That night I got a package. No sender, just a burner phone and a note. You're closer than you think. Call. I dialed the only number, saved, my heart pounding. A voice answered, low-accented British. Maybe Mr. Jensen, it said. You've been busy, Owen's down, but the broker's watching. Walk away or you're next. I gripped the phone, the hotel's silence oppressive. Who are you? A chuckle. Someone you don't want to meet. You've got 24 hours. The line went dead. I stared at the phone, the city's lights blurring. Owen was caught, but the broker was real and they weren't done. Lily's lies, Bradley's tapes, Ellen's theft. They were just the surface. I'd won the battle, but the war was still out there. I moved to a new hotel. My bags light, my mind heavy. The next day, Lucas called, found Bradley. He said, hold up in Miami using a fake ID. Want me to grab him? No, I said, let the feds have him. I'm done chasing ghosts. I walked to the Brooklyn promenade, the Manhattan skyline gleaming across the river. My phone buzzed, a text from Lily. I'm sorry, Caleb. I'll testify, make this right. I didn't reply. Not out of anger, but because I was free. 10 years and I'd been blind. Now my eyes were open. I leaned on the railing, the river's current steady below. The broker was out there, a shadow waiting to strike. Bradley was running. Owen was caged, and Lily was a stranger. My life was a blank page, and for the first time I held the pen. Would I chase the truth or let it go? I didn't know. But as the city hummed, one thing was clear. I wasn't the mark anymore. What would you do if the truth cost you everything? Did I fight too hard or not hard enough? Trust is a currency you can't afford to lose. Like what you heard, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Viora because the next story might just be your favorite one yet.